Oh my god, did you see the Sony executive leak of like literally going the new Spider-Man show? No, but the new Spider-Man show, is the new
the animated one.
Yes. Oh my god. Like straight up the leaks are out there about like him going like, yes, Spider-Man following you on Instagram is relatable. Hop, pop, and worthy of zing. Like straight up. And I'm like, buddy, it's not the 80s anymore. Who speaks like this? It's like, oh no, no wonder. Apparently, the show has a bunch of just like people like I'm here, like a lot of that stuff. Apparently, from like this perspective, like seeing the phone zoomed in and like, like, whoa, I'm live on Spider Chat and stuff like that. I was like, ooh.
Hi, welcome to DEP Talk, the little corner of DEP Films where we talk about all kinds of things.
If you're new here, we're amateur filmmakers and indie filmmakers, and I've been doing it for the past 10 years, as well as working on real movies as well, outside of just our own in the independent scene. That's who we are. Film people talking about film stuff. We're fresh faces, you damn Gen Zers, although we're like millennials or something.
We have 2 new episodes of Daredevil to go over. Let's get into that in a moment.
Sure.
And then we got some casting news on Harry Potter.
Oh. Yeah.
Controversial or not? Let's discuss with the Harry Potter fan himself.
Hello.
And we got some stuff concerning Star Wars, and I also wanted to bring up the whole thing about Snow White. So,
oh god, yeah.
Those are some things we're gonna run through here.
Oh.
Yes, Daredevil.
I was happy with 3. 4 was the worst episode so far that we have available to us to see. No particular scene or acting moment or piece was insulting or hurting, but none of it felt like it was there to connect itself to another part of the episode. It was just, we went to a scene, now we went to a scene, now we went to a scene, and they were all fine individual scenes, but nothing felt part of a grander story. And for me, that's the worst episode so far, which is ironic because I've seen a lot of positive things on these. They'll be like, oh, this is the best episode. And I'm like, no, it isn't. You really like that Frank scene at the end and you think that makes it the best. No, it isn't. It's finely written, but stressfully written. There's a degree of keeping that scene at a pace, and you can feel it. And yes, the actors and the acting does the heavy lifting, and the writing isn't bad. It is just the case that it, to me, feels like there's an inkling of rushingness there, and we know that.
You can break down the acting, you can break down the writing and the direction of so many scenes, like when Matt confronts the cop in the corridor and the cop takes the badge and puts it on his chest and he listens to the heartbeat and realizes he's not lying. That's inherently good writing, directing. And the same goes for the scenes with the therapy and the Punisher scene. Look at the blocking, look at how the characters are moving and how the tempo flows up and down. It is good directing and writing. But it's what you said, it's about where you place the scenes. It's about the flow, the whole pace of the episode that feels jumbled. And from a filmmaking point of view, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to find out, but I also have a lot of faith that it's going to turn around soon, that it's building and building and building. And that's why they added this more emphasis on Matt's realization that he needs to be the hero that the city needs in this episode, and likewise showing Kingpin declining and getting ready to snap and being the villain that we want him to be. People out there on the internet were claiming that the original show was supposed to be more comedic and more in tone of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's not true.
Where's the proof?
No.
Where is it? It's not in the show. It's not in the editing. It's not in the writing. It's where?
The proof is these latest episodes that we get to see, because a lot of it
comedic.
No, that's what I mean. It's a procedural drama that's supposed to take things very slow. That's supposed to be aimed for a different audience initially, because they were not thinking that this was going to connect as much to the OG shows, which we know was a big mistake in hindsight. And that's why they brought in the new people, which we talked about earlier. But in these episodes 3 and 4, which were originally, 2 and 3, they were given the order of 18 episodes. And they didn't have the budget to go that extraordinary with each episode. So instead, let's go for the more street level route that's more drama, that works on daytime TV, instead of it working for the comic book audience. The audience that says, let's go each time.
This is the episode that feels like those random bits of like cutting room scenes that you could use. from an obviously cut and reassembled original 6 whatever episodes they had filmed.
Yeah, 6 episodes.
6 episodes. Until the new crew stepped in, rearranged, and then again added padding through the front end and sprinkled where it could in between those 6 episodes to restructure the narrative. Like, I've seen really positive things about this one. I was like, wow, really? This is the episode that for you people turned you around and went, oh, the first one and some of the other ones, ew. But this one, I'm like, really? The messiest episode in consistency and in pacing? Okay, good, I guess. But if this is what you consider the best, then you sounds like you would have loved the original show. What the fuck? I'm confused.
That's the irony of it, right?
I'm confused. I'm so confused.
Because the original structure is that we start each episode going from the morning to the evening.
Like, doing a show where you literally take it a day at a time, and then you mentioned it to me. Pauli showed me that in the 4th episode, right? Was it where you have the club scene with the young boy that sounds a little weird. You get the young boy, the Gandolfini man that likes Fisk, and he's out there with BB and another girl at the club. Which honestly I didn't realize that was BB just because like completely different style and the lighting. I was like, is this some new characters? And then people were like, oh, BB. Like, oh, that's her. I could not tell. I'm a fucking blind. I'm the Daredevil. But so apparently, like, there's a transition there where then he goes like from the cab. He calls to himself to go home. Goes through the cab, and then it pans over to our main boy getting arrested for stealing that corn. And I just thought, oh, pretty shot. But that was Pauli going, no, that was their original vision where you were just going to transition from character to character and then follow that character, transition to character. Again, really cool. Love it in execution. Love it thematically. Like, there's a lot of that stuff that makes sense.
That's one of the few transitions that survived the re-editing.
That would have been one of those few things that would have kept the old show reasonable. But you would have watched a show about Daredevil, born again, and then seen a show about a guy that maybe or maybe wasn't Daredevil because they weren't sure what they wanted to do with it. They said, oh, ignore the old Daredevil show, but I guess keep She-Hulk and Echo, but not the old one.
Yeah.
One of the most genuine messes of a production in Marvel history to this degree of consistency-wise. Like, that's such a messy, sloppy in your mouth. They say scrolls in that episode. Don't mention that word to me. Could it be scrolls?
Well, no. What do you think that was?
Well, because they connected to the grander universe and all that stuff, and it's just like...
Yeah. But the tone was to be very somber and very serious, as you can tell. That's really good too, right?
That's not a problem.
But we already know that he is Daredevil and that he is Kingpin.
And I'm sorry if you think that Vincent D'Onofrio is giving you a what's the word here? A veiled performance. No, it isn't. That's a man on the edge of snapping with each head turn, but he's keeping it in out of some ideology now of trying to be good. I still haven't seen Echo. Whoops, sorry. I'll get on that. But to explain why his behavior is different than some people out there are complaining about.
Well, then realize this. Then imagine you are that new audience member that's supposed to be introduced.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's no. I look at that guy and go, "That's evil." There's no pretense of like, I will make the city great. It's like, okay, so that's an evil man.
But you could tell that's the intention. But when he says, "I'm trying to be good," you're supposed to believe this.
But I don't believe that they wrote this in the way of like, oh, the audience doesn't know if he's bad or not. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'd have to actually be blind. No offense, people of visually impaired. I join you. I'm just not fully there, except without these, I am kind of. The man looks evil, behaves evil, and sounds evil. Like, I mean, it's one of those like, oh, don't judge, things by their visage and appearance, but like, no.
Yeah.
No.
So when you know this stuff, you realize
it just would never have worked. It just wouldn't have worked. The Daredevil stuff would have made no sense. Born again for what? From where? If you were just ignoring so much of the past and weren't sure what you were choosing, then what is he born from? There would be those ideologies that just would not make sense. That stuff is frustrating because it shows a disregard for your own world building and other creative people in your own field and circle go, we'll just make our own thing. And then as a team, sure, you're maybe dipshits, you don't care enough, but then someone else should be hired. That's whole job is to go, hey, nobody, this is not how this works. I'm the fucking lore keeper. I'm the guy with no life that Marvel pays to hang around on these sets and tell you no, the character did this and the character did that and the character is like this. Like I'm the nerd that like gives enough of a shit. You hire me to correct you and stop you to doing these things, because the people that give a crap and the audience that follows you is the one that you're trying to build this for, seemingly, and they're the people you're supposed to be catering to, not my mom that wants a new cop drama. She has plenty of those, and I can take a good cop drama too, but. You can have it feel like that too. That's completely fine. New show, you're allowed to taste an experiment of genres and filmmaking and writing, but you keep the character to the core of the idea that they were set up in. Again, you can take a character and change the genre and play with it, but the character still has to adhere to what the character is. And if you just take away Matthew from being Daredevil without seeing it, and you're not sure what parts of his Daredevil lore you want to show, you would have just been even more confused if this was supposed to be the brand new show, and then it cuts to, the episode 4's ending where you're looking at all those masks and costumes. You'd have been like, unless that was all part of reshoots, in which case, all right, I guess reshoots.
No, it wasn't. That was supposed to be the first time you actually see that he had a costume and
That's
weapons.
stupid, isn't it? How stupid is that? You'd be born again, and you go, okay, well, why did he stop? Oh, I guess Yoda revealed that Foggy, that's why. And then you're like, okay, so this one guy we never met died. And
Corrupt police killed Foggy in the original. Yeah. Corrupt police killed Foggy in the original.
Oh, so they were going for a very big corrupt cop theme this season.
Episode 4 starts with Matt going over the morgue about the things with White Tiger. And this is a scene that you can tell was lifted from later in the episode, because it should have started with the club scene, probably according to the original version. Yeah. And then you do feel like, well, you gotta have that scene there because we just left there the last episode with those emotions. We want to continue with those feelings.
In the show, the way it's been restructured, it looks like 2 days have passed in film time as you're watching it.
And it's supposed to have been 1 day in the...
But clearly that piece was moved from here, and now it feels like, it's been a day 2. So now it feels like we've gone through 2 days.
And that's why it feels like it takes a little while to get going, because it doesn't investigate until the end of the day.
This is the episode where you just feel tempo. I'm telling you, there are scenes that are fine here, and they're clearly connected to another story, and there is a thread connecting them because it's the same characters, but they're disconnected, and it feels it. And you go from a scene of person to a scene of person to a scene of person, to a scene of person to a scene of person to a scene of person, and then to a scene of person to a scene of person to it's Punisher, and then that's the show. That is just what it was.
And the ending of episode 3 was a reshoot too.
Yeah.
Because in the original version, you did not see the logo of the Punisher, which is a corrupt cop who shot him, and they redid that with a body double. And then they went back to that location for the ending of episode 4 now. And the Punisher scene was originally supposed to be much later in the original version, and they lifted it to be sooner, which makes so much more sense. Matt's conflict has been so internal, and the music has helped a lot in the scenes when he's listening and doing the procedural court case drama situations when he's realizing the system isn't quite working the way it should.
Scary.
Maybe we need him to be a hero. And then the music cues you in, and it helps so much. Okay. The ending of episode 4, when you do reveal that Kingpin is still gonna be Kingpin, but for the new audience, he is very evil. He goes back to being a comic booky man, and that made you...
I could not take it serious. Is at the end when he has said Adam, the man that his wife cheated on him while he was gone. Adam, as we've mentioned him before, and we get a reveal in therapy, a bit more like just in case we weren't sure it wasn't cheating, people were a little okay, is there something else? Now it's confirmed that it was that. Very daytime, like you said, to have a cheating arc and then go to therapy, which again isn't being executed badly in any way, by the way.
No, we both think that the writing and the acting is good in each scene, but it's jumbled. And as a whole, you felt like the pacing isn't exciting enough
because you can tell the blender of editing that it is right now, sadly. And that's why I know that this episode is going to be a bit of a struggle. And luckily, you mentioned to me that next week we're getting 2 episodes again, which will episode 5 and 6, which hopefully we'll be able to put some life into the whole thing by going, you get episode 5 and 6, you get to watch a bit more. By then we've hopefully set up a bit more, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we have the last 3 lining up for ourselves. So by then we need to start getting a bit more of a strong, clear view. And in retrospect, you'll start the season off with a strong first episode, pretty strong second, a decent third, 4th episode, and hopefully it'll be a good or a decent 5 and 6, and then we can end it off strongly for the next season. And overall, the show will stand with the rest of the Daredevil. shows. Hopefully, that's all I can hope for.
No, I hope so
That's
too.
all I can
I really hope so too. I think it's leading somewhere. It's building.
Yeah.
They're making sure that the important character building moments are left here in the edit, and the scene with Punisher,
Good.
like
Rushed. I'm telling you, I
feel
could feel there was little pieces there. That was a little rushed, but like,
Interesting.
but there was something about that scene that felt because the whole structure of the show that they have to play with from what it was before. It almost has this. That scene almost feels like the forced cameo scene because of the way they've tried to structure it to begin with, and that whole like who knows what's connected and what's part of it all, and it has this little like floaty feeling because of that. It feels like the obligatory, wake up, you fucks, we have the Punisher, he's here, Gilberto, ah! And then you're like, but I'm awake. Like, it has that feeling to me. It feels closer to what the first episode is than what the rest of it is. Not because the rest of it is bad, it is because the rest of it is, like you said, so much more low tone and kept down, which again isn't a problem. It makes sense for, exactly, it makes sense for the character, and even the story that you've chosen to rearrange, it fits, I can understand it, but it does not mean I do not feel it. And that's all it is. It does not mean I do not feel it, and and it is fair critique to say, hey, it's a bad situation for everyone, including the audience, and that's a fair thing to point out. In a perfect world, I stand by it. Throw sacks to say, but throw that old stuff out the trash and should have done it again. No one would have liked it. That's a lot of money and time wasted. But sometimes the satchel is that's what should have done. This comes from people that can't afford to throw out all hours and hours and hours of film video because we are independent.
We
can't.
So, what did you guys think? Let us know in the comments about Daredevil episodes 3 and 4 if you saw it. And now we spoiled it, but there's spoilers in the description, so don't worry. All right, let's talk about Harry Potter.
Harry P.
David is a big fan of this, and recently it was announced and confirmed that we have John Lithgow as Dumbledore.
Yes.
And we also have Janet McTeer as McGonagall.
Yes.
Another casting that I do approve of.
Yes.
Other castings have not been fully realized yet, but there's one that's been controversial on the internet, which is Papa Esiedo, if I'm pronouncing it right. A British theater actor, TV actor, who's now gonna be in talks to play Snape.
I think, first of all, is that feeling of like, let's wait until the guy properly says yes, because I'm sure he's sitting there going, oh, fuck. Which is what I would be thinking if I got that role. I'd be like, oh, fuck, this could be great, or it could be terrible. You're in that zone of like, do I take this role? Because I mean, fucked if I do, and I'm fucked if I don't, possibilities,
First, let's declare what the movies mean to you.
The movies, oh gosh. Well, the story of Harry Potter, again, out of the world we live in, I feel like...
Short worded, please.
Well, yeah, if I can, or I'll make John Lithgow sad. You get it? Oscars. So basically, I love the books. My mom read them to me because I was young enough. She read them to me as a bedtime thing, maybe a chapter before bedtime, or, depends how long the chapter is, blah, blah, blah. You get it. The woman has a job. She wants to go to bed too, trying to make her little shit fall asleep. Hello, I'm a little shit. Watch the movies as they came through as well. I love them. They're missing a fucking metric ton from the books, which makes sense.
You identified with Harry Potter.
Yeah, I identified with this fucking weirdo kid with crazy hair and glasses that moved from country to new places all the time. Was always like the one people stared at because I was like
Exhibit A.
Hello, because I was the new kid and no one knew me and that I was a weirdo and whatever. And I don't know, Harry just felt relatable and like in every possible way. And I loved him for it. And he was a dick when he wanted to be, and he was nice when he wanted to be, and all those aspects of him kept him a believable 11-year-old to 17-year-old as he grew up in those things, and not outside of just like evil magics of having evil snake man in your head making you more angry, but just going through those pubescent phases of like being angry at the world for what's happened to you and the people around you, and expressing it even against those who love you, and all blah blah blah. Everything about the character and characters growing up felt so natural and right. It was a comforting way to grow up, feeling that you weren't alone in that echo, that there were these characters that, even if you didn't have your friends to talk to, because feeling scary, but you had these characters that could empathize and relate with them, especially when you got to hear it from the perspective of, inside Harry's head and his thoughts. And to this day, I'm sure there's plenty of people that think the books are garbage and badly written. I disagree. I think they're well written. I think they're a good time. For all of you that go out there right now and borrow books from the library to burn them, is first of all, you're burning books, you fucking idiot. And
are people doing this?
Oh yeah, it's fucking idiotic. Book burnings are kind of insane, with all due respect. So don't fucking burn books. What are you doing, you complete fucking muppet? They become so iconic on the ideology and look of Harry Potter that the games are based off the books, looks of the movies, and that includes the old school ones, including the new school ones that we're going to be getting. The look of Hogwarts is just so implemented. You go to ride at Universal or LA and all that stuff, and it's the thing. I play Hogwarts Mystery on my fucking phone for God. How long has that game been out? Maybe 6 years now, and I've been playing it for 6 fucking years, on and off. You know, yes, I love Harry Potter.
You hear that theme song?
I hear that theme song, and it's great. I think of John Williams. I think of Star Wars. I don't know. It all kind of blends in a little bit into some of the other things that I love because it's childhood.
The imagery of the characters.
It's immortalized. The people were so perfect for their roles that it is unimaginable. Again, Rupert Grint, Daniel Radcliffe, and Emma Watson were the perfect castings for their characters. Like, it is magical that happened. A film production that lasted basically 10 years. I'm sorry, everyone sits there and jerks off Peter Jackson for having done a trilogy only one go that's never done before. These people slowly, different crew, a lot of the same crew outside of, you had different writers and different directors, but actor-wise, put together a 8-movie fucking like epic to the point where when the last movie came out, you just had to write a 11.11.11, and just the character. There was no Harry Potter. You knew exactly what movie it was. They just had to put in the date, so you knew when the fuck to show up in the theater. They didn't have to tell you the name of what you were going to watch. That's iconic. That's something. Nothing to this degree has been done since.
Fantastic Beasts. We both liked it.
Loved it.
We're in a minority here.
Yes, we are.
We
Fun
like.
time. Fun time.
I had a good time with those. But the fact is that they were the big successes is what made Warner Bros. CEO David Zaslav think that Harry Potter cannot be a success without
Harry Potter. Which is why everything since then is called Harry Potter. The game on my phone is called Harry Potter Hogwarts Mysteries. Where is Harry Potter?
No.
Well, nowhere, but it's called Harry nowhere. But it's called Harry Potter Hogwarts Mysteries, goddammit.
So there's potential for a whole universe, but no, let's throw that away because Zaslav thinks we can only do
Harry Potter. Biggest missed opportunity of this world and franchise you've had in a long time.
And Cursed Child could not be proposed as a movie anymore.
Anyway, which to be fair would need some heavy rewriting to be not bad.
So what do they do? Well, let's remake the whole thing.
Let's remake the whole thing. Let's remake Harry Potter in a show format. Okay, look, on paper, I'll tell you what. It's the kind of thing where I remember saying, like, look, the only reason I would ever accept this would be to try one of those crazy experiments of saying, you know what? What if we just actually went balls to walls and adapted every fucking chapter of a book
as an episode?
Yeah. That would be a first for anything out there. And if there's anything you could maybe do it with, is Harry fucking P. And yes, that is a ton fucking shit, especially when you get to like, the few of the other books where they have like, a lot of chapters.
So the one benefit from this is seeing the stuff that they couldn't fit into the movie.
But the question will be like, how much of that will that be? Okay, I guess maybe we'll finally get to see Peeves, and everyone gets to be happy about that. Maybe we'll finally get to see more of Cedric, even though there wasn't that much in the books to begin with. We'll get to see more Neville and his backstory, which will be great to see. Oh, maybe of the elves with Spew, with Hermione trying to defend elf rights and not just be slaves to the wizards. There's a lot of that kind of stuff that are like, yeah, you could have a lot of space to dedicate to showing a lot of this stuff, which would be the advantage of doing it like this, right? Like, going just full on balls to walls. And if so many people love these books and since then have gone through the books, one of the few like book series out there that's also complete, Game of Thrones, and people have listened to and read and watched this way, then it's a perfect time to maybe experiment with something like that. It's also a big fucking risk to try to do something like that, because what happens if you have the boring chapter? Then maybe that episode's just fucking 30 minutes.
Aim for the big fans here. They want to get the fans here. The statements said that this is going to be a very close, faithful adaptation to J.K. Rowling's books. And they're going to take a lot of time casting the kids, so we're not there yet. They're doing a worldwide search. And those poor kids are going to be so compared. So they better not be on social media.
You see all the stupid news on the internet like, this is a 40-year-old man who applied to be Hermione, didn't get it. I'm like, no shit. And also, fucking leave him alone. Okay, he wanted to be Hermione. Good for him. Oh, fucking who cares? Is this news? Is this the news? Oh no, a guy within his 40s trying to be Hermione. Did you think he was going to get cast then? And if he did, then yeah, sure, then rebel.
Look, let him have the best time of his life.
Fuck, who cares?
But then we come to the casting, right? So Janet McTeer as McGonagall, I think we do approve.
Sure, nothing jumps at me going. So
classic British actress, and Lithgow.
I like Lithgow a lot. I think he could be an excellent Dumbledore. I think he could be the best Dumbledore. You just needs to get a dialect coach to sound English, but that's about it.
Hey.
Otherwise, I think he's got this.
I'm John Lithgow, I'm American, but how do I sound when I'm British? I'm not sure. I should probably more like this. I'm not sure. Like Lithgow's voice is very.
I like him. He has a. I think he could.
He's a very likable actor, and he's worked so many years.
Yes.
And he is older now, and he said that this is probably going to be the last big role I play.
That's true.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Like no,
He's aware, yeah.
no, but he's right, and I'm glad he's taken it because I think he'll be an excellent Dumbledore. Except for I do want him to sound like Dumbledore.
I was Dumbledore first.
Well,
I spoke like this. I was Richard. Then Gambon, turn on the light. Like very different,
I know.
Jude Law of the whole thing.
right.
That was a terrible impression of Jude
Oh
Law.
my God.
Sorry about that. I can do better.
He's gonna hurt some children later.
No, here you go. What's my number? What's Gattaca?
Gattaca. Does anyone watch Gattaca?
It's a fantastic movie. You should see
You
it.
should see it.
Okay, and then it comes to
The big one. Scary. Like different.
Papa Siedo as Snape.
Okay.
Now we gotta be fair because we have not seen his acting.
No.
And we cannot.
At the end of the day, for me, it comes down to this. If you can perform a scene better than any actor can, that's what, first of all, should determine you. Asterisk, you fucks. Yes, the character of Snape is supposed to basically be the wizarding equivalent of a white supremacist Nazi. I can't say the word. I think YouTube doesn't like it. Bad man with mustache lover. Pointy hat, ghost hole faces, burning crosses, etc., etc. He's supposed to be the representation of that. So having a man of color take that role is a little bit of a, cunny situation. You just kind of, and I know for them, within the world of Harry Potter, it's purebloodness. Are you one of the 6 families of purebloods? Like, no, because we're not all fucking inbreds, you idiot. Not even Voldemort was, for fuck's sake. Because that's how you end up with the fucking hillbillies. Like,
okay.
And I mean, you have Lestrange and shit like that. You can go, that's some keeping it in the generational family, pure blood. There's part of that whole thing, which because they don't want to go full, but they'll look at Muggle-borns like Hermione and go mudblood, the magical N-word. That was a very way of saying that the wizarding word equivalent of the N-word, not the N-word being magical. That's not at all what I'm trying to say. Fuck.
It's fine. It's fine. He'll be canceled later.
It's okay. Later. Later. What the fuck? Now. So all of those distinctions and things that are part of the grander scheme of the world are there, and there is that feeling of a little bizarreness putting Snape in that role, because I think we're so used to it being a very visual representation of like a white supremacist, a dickhead. That literally looks like it, he talks like it, he moves like it, he's a creepy guy. And the whole like greasy hair, and in the books, yes, he's described as this like white pasty fucking nerd that looks so fucking dead inside, and that he hides in a dungeon, he might be a corpse or a vampire. That is part of it.
Very interesting.
Like he's literally described as so pale, Harry thinks and wears that black cloak, the first thing he thinks is, he's a vampire.
Okay.
Like, he's supposed to be a classic Nosferatu almost look-alike.
And Papa Siedo is conventionally
a good-looking man, goddammit. Lily should have been all over that fucking man's wand. Like, she'd be like, yes, Snape. Like, I don't know what happened. James must really, I don't know who you're fucking getting Henry Cavill to play James. Like, Harry, my son. Like,
that's how you measure it up.
How else the fuck are you?
You measure it up.
You know what I mean? Like, what's gonna happen?
Like super,
like with glasses, because that's Harry, my son. Like, oh my god, Henry Cavill, you're my dad. Like, like how are you gonna balance? Would it be the same thing? Yeah. If they told me we're getting Henry Cavill as Snape, I'd be like, no, you're fucking not. Are you insane? You'd be like, John Cena shows up on set, and I'm like, that's not Snape. That's a man who's gonna break me in half, and not in a sexual way. Well, maybe that too. And that's the thing. Man is good looking. Yeah. Snape, I don't know, he has the whole hook nose. He's described as having a David nose, fucking, like he's a creepy looking guy, like the whole, greasy hair, unkempt, his house in the book is described as having an air of untidiness, malkept. Like he's clearly a dirty fucking hobo of a man, human, that doesn't give a fuck about himself and all that stuff. Like, and yes, you can still slap a wig on the man. You can still like do it well with makeup. You can add more of a hook nose on the guy to make him fit the character better. The guy can be an amazing actor.
These days is the thing of let's not try to recapture what another actor did before. It's become more popular to not even acknowledge.
Yes.
And do your own thing, reinvent.
You can't have Snape not be Snape. He can play him differently. I don't want him to just do it Alan Rickman. Then I can just watch Alan Rickman. I don't want them to just... I don't want them to... Yes, I want them as actors. Look, you're an actor. Your job is to come and add something to the material that only you can add. That's what makes you perfect for the role. Not just because you can fucking spout the dialogue. Anyone that gives us enough of a shit can learn to spout the dialogue. You know, we do scenes with our girl, Rebecca, for our client movies. And I'll write a dialogue piece for her that's like this much. And I'm like, oh, poor woman, she doesn't learn all this. And she comes over here and she learns it. Right? And sometimes we'll do a dialogue piece where, like, you know, she'll do the scene and everything, and I'll go, oof, that felt a little weak. And there's that moment of like, could I have given her a better direction there? Was my writing a little weak? And then sometimes I'll give her something like the thing we filmed with her recently, and I was like, I think the writing here is decent. Then I see her perform it, and I'm like, whew. Well, I know it's good, you know, and then same thing. Then I give it to a friend and go, hey, I just filmed the scene. I thought the girl did amazing. What do you think of the words? And then they're like, hey, you don't know about context. I love this. I was like, oh, okay. Now I have approval that I'm pretty confident that scene's going to be good. You know, I have an external source being like someone that doesn't know anything. I have my on-scene experience. I have the writing experience, having been with you and writing and going, this looks good to you? And you go, yeah, sure. And then but then, you know, you have it be performed and all that stuff and go, oh, fantastic. It's great. It's amazing. You don't know sometimes until you're there. And it could be your writing, it could be the performer, it could be a combination of both that make it work. And I think you can tell on scene sometimes.
Do you feel like you could temper your expectations?
I am tempered. I am so fucking tempered. More tempered than I think people in my friend group and I think expect me to be. I think I'm ironically probably one of the most tempered people about this show, which surprises me more than anyone. Because I'm willing to see if there's anything here that would redeem the point of even attempting it.
You are the audience for this.
I am the audience for this, and I would rather believe that this is genuinely going to at least be something. And if it does do well, here's the kicker, motherfuckers. If this does well at the same time, and they want more kachinga kablinga, in the meantime, outside of just making the second video game, you know, Hogwarts Legacy 2 or whatever, they can hopefully focus the direction on making other stuff, which means actually making a show, a different show in the Wizarding World, and understanding that the banner of the Wizarding World can carry you so far. People for years have been making their own fan films, posters, and other stuff like that. Like you could do things within that world and still have it being connected to the old movies and stuff, which now will become a bit of a question. If you even think about doing this stuff. Because as of now, the old Harry Potter movies and the Fantastic Beasts movies, that's part of the same kerfuffle. But now you'll have the new show and its own thing, and will it be stylized differently? Will it look the same? If it looks the same, then it just feels bizarre to get the exact same visual cues, but with new faces.
It's crazy.
There's just a lot of questions behind it, and that's the biggest scare, is that like either this new will become the new default look for the Wizarding World, which will mean bank after bank of rebuilding, remodeling, rechanging, and scrapping the Legos and toys and buildings and theme parks worth of fucking bank out the window, and try again. When is the day where I'm going to walk in the store and I'm not going to see Daniel Radcliffe's face on some Harry Potter themed gloves, but I'm going to see the new kids?
It will be, if this is a success.
Yeah, but isn't that insane to think about? What happened to all those Lego sets we never got? Well, now we're going to get new Lego sets based off the new characters and the new sets that we're building. That's weird.
You walk into the toy store now. How many Star Wars toys do you see?
None. The sequel era has sold the least toys out of all of them. Of course, only beat by the king of all the sequels.
What is the toy that sold the most in the Disney era?
I could not guess.
The Baby Yoda.
Of course.
Which is why the Mandalorian and Grogu
I love the Grogu.
is apparently a very cheap movie.
Oh!
They have not spent so much money on it.
Wow. Are we learning lessons?
Maybe we are, and this is also Bob Iger going, let's Moana 2 this stuff.
Make it mediocre and forgettable?
No.
Oh, sorry.
You're making another season of Mando. This is our most profitable.
Well, Moana was meant to be a fucking show until they changed it to a movie and everyone feels it.
Well, that's what they did here, because they looked at the fact that, hey,
That is a little weird. Here, let's take this like how many episodes and slam it into look. You can make a really good episode of Mandalorian into a movie. I do agree with that. So do that. But we are getting a season 4. So there's a movie and there will be a season 4.
You do realize this.
Depending on the success of this movie.
He says he's written it already.
I know he has, but he also wrote the real season 4, which is now the movie. So it can always be rearranged depending on the success of things.
Right,
But this is Disney thinking that if we sell Baby Yoda on the big poster, we can earn some caching on this. Don't spend too much. Just do the same budget. Just go to the volume because there are no set pictures. It seems like this is going to be a very straightforward, stripped down movie about Mando and Grogu on a mission. Sigourney Weaver probably giving the mission. She takes over from the late great Carl Weathers. And now they're on their way to...
I see.
Yeah, they're on their way to a gladiatorial arena where Rhoda the Hutt is prisoner and fighting as a strong Hutt, the son of Jabba. And then Embo, the bounty hunter. Remember him from Clone Wars?
I actually do remember Embo. He was always there whenever you needed a bounty hunter. I was like, oh, Embo, you're like the weird Boba Fett, Jango Fett of this era when there's no real Boba Fett or Jango Fett right now. Weird.
He's voiced by Dave Filoni, so like, hey Dave, just come in here into
Do your little in the machine voice. You got it, buddy. It'll just be a fucking random fun adventure in space that hopefully will just feel satisfying. I will be surprised if there's like bigger themes echoing somewhere in the distance, a la everyone's favorite Blue Man Group member Thrawn, or not. Or other galactic, bigger thing, or if we're just gonna get a one-off movie of here's the Mandalorian adventuring with the baby. Okay, sure. He's fighting the bounty hunter for a Hutt. I'm like, sure, this sounds right.
Just curious, is this just a setup? Is this a first act that leads to something else?
Is it just a random one-off mission which will go, awesome, this could have been a Disney Plus movie, and I would have accepted it well? Or are you going to go, wow, we needed this on the big screen?
Because Grogu is profitable.
The baby, I would like to share the baby, is very good. Yes, everyone liking the baby. I agree. The baby should fuck off and go to Luke. And the Mandalorian should now be the Mandalorian because that point of the story has completed. Yes, I see that the Mandalorian, the Grogu, the baby, he is very profitable. I said, no, keep it with the Mandalorian. They like that. I go, yes, I would also like a Luke show. And I think that Luke on with his Padawan, the baby Grogu, would be a great adventure to do with. So I'm still sold on, give me Luke! So do that and it'll be great. It's okay, Mr. Hamill. You're old and tired. You take it back.
Your pants falling down.
Oh my God, poor man.
So sorry.
Leave him alone. Just get fucking Winter Soldier. Just walk over to the Thunderbolt set that's right across the street and get him over there. Just slap some black in the wig and there you go. But if not, yes, give it to the man that's been doing the stunt right now. Like, the guy seems happy enough and, fuck it. I don't mind. I can accept the recast, you crazy fucks. The Solo problem wasn't that you recasted characters. The Solo problem was the movie wasn't even that bad. Honestly, it wasn't.
There's more.
The reason it sucked is because of the sequels, and we all know it. God damn it. It's poisoned everything. Do I need to go to the theater for this? That's the question ultimately that people can ask. Must I go to the theater to see it, or do I just wait for Disney Plus to see it? That's the question, and it isn't an unveiled one for this. I want to see it in theater. I fucking love Star Wars still, because apparently I'm insane and I can't let go. I have emotional issues and I need to go to therapy for Star Wars apparently. I'll admit, I am insane. I did enjoy Season 3. I still found myself enjoying it. Yes, seeing fucking Lizzo, Jack Black, and fucking decrepit old time travelers in the same episode was a little but
that was your reaction.
But it wasn't like it ruined for me. It was more of a, I see, you're here. But then it cuts away, and then you just have a classic little Mando adventure with robots, and then he cuts back, and you go, all right, Jack Black's here.
Well, she was cast because I think Jon Favreau's kids like her.
Oh, that's nice. Can Jon Favreau's kids like me? Children, I'm fun and hip with the youth. Put me in the Star Wars, please.
As David. Just as David.
No, I could do so much. Just get me in a room with your dad, and I can pitch him a fucking damn good Star Wars. I've had a good Star Wars pitch that could connect all eras, minus the High Republic. I mean the prequels, originals, the sequels.
You mean the boring era?
I can know. Well, no, actually, yeah.
High Republic.
Sadly, it is the boring era. Sorry, you guys tried, but you can't give me an era of the Jedi all about let's explore the space and there's nothing really in our way, but I guess evil pirates, and it's like, Wow, how interesting.
The 1,000 Years of Peace sounds like an exciting time to explore 10,000 books.
Insane. Dude, I have a book I've tried to listen to like 6 times an audiobook. I cannot get past like the first 3 chapters. And not just because it's just like I'm bored. And it starts off with like the calamities. Like, it starts off with like each chapter is like David and Pauli are having a great day on the space station. I'm like, oh, Pauli, I can't wait to see my kids today. Like, you sure do, David. And then, what's that? With the calamity. And then it cuts to some other people and their day. Like, oh, today's a nice day, Jedi Pauli. Oh, can't wait to go back to that. Oh my God.
Apparently, the Knights of the Old Republic remake game has not been cancelled.
No, it's been in this weird state of limbo where like there's no official word from Star Wars. But the development team keeps going, we haven't heard anything, so until they tell us stop, we won't. Which is not reassuring that they make it sound like they just have heard nothing from Disney and LucasArts. Is a little weird the way they're phrasing it, because it feels like the fans aren't... Because the whole, like, if we're getting dead radio silence from the company... Then we look to the developers going, well, are you still working on it or not? They're being quiet. You can say if you've moved on. And they're going, no, we're still doing it. We haven't heard anything either, so I guess we're still good. It's a weird feeling. It's not really reassuring.
I hope that's a giant success. I hope that...
It would be a very big win if that one is. And then obviously that could lead to the second one being remastered. And then would we be lucky enough to get a proper trilogy to the whole thing?
Because money is what makes these people working.
Yeah, and then does that mean that then people can get lucky and even get a finale to a certain trilogy of Force Unleashed? Ours Battlefront 3 doesn't look on any horizon to ever be made. That's the cursed game. It will start again, but we won't make the third one.
Oh, no.
Right, think about it. They've made 2 Battlefront 1 and 2s again, and then they were at the edge of making a third one. It's nowhere near of anyone even considering it. What the fuck?
The rumor mill has been saying that the people working over there making the calls of what to greenlight or not think that Knights of the Old Republic and these things are too niche and too ingrained with a specific type of fan. Like, that's not true.
My question is, what are you making then? What are you making fresh and new then? Release it. Oh, there's nothing. Oh, fantastic. The only thing I can think of that you've had the smarts to approve has been the Jedi series. Terrible name, but it's what we have to call it because...
That's because it's set in the era close to the movies.
Yeah, and also, like, it was well done. Luckily, it nailed it. Got some decent story, got some good approval. They went a little safe with the first one because they had to, but luckily, I think that safety net was good. And the safety in a video game format is better than safety in a film format. It just is. Because with a video game, you're not done in 2 hours. Rarely. Like, fuck, even if you're amazing, you're a god, pal. You're a god king. And you do it in 3.5 hours or 6. You just go A to B, boom, 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 boom. Fantastic. You're amazing. You're a god. Let me get on my knees and pray. And then since then, we had Star Wars Outlaws. It didn't do so hot. Rumors that like the DLC is being canceled. I have no idea if that's true or not. The weirdness of having the one game not having Billy D voice himself, and it doesn't even sound like Billy D in any way. Like that's not even someone doing an impression. You're just like, you're just some guy that has Billy Williams' face on. What the fuck?
Oh, okay.
Very bizarre.
But the world building in the prequels and the original trilogies and even in the old Knights of the Old Republic and the future, those were still exciting and fresh.
They were. And there's so much there that is exciting and fresh, and you want to know where a lot of the storylines and pieces came from. Just the same way I am excited of where it was going to go, except for right now, because of how things did end up going, I don't give a fuck of where it's going, but I give everything about where it came from, because at least there... it can still be good. That mysterious Star Wars Eclipse game looks fun. It was a conceptual trailer. Whatever you choose to do with it, because I know the studio is a very good studio when it comes to storytelling. Look forward to giving me a fresh Star Wars take. Yeah. Awesome. Whilst hopefully keeping elements of what makes it classic.
Because if this is a success, this is a gateway to get some of the fresh takes on Star Wars.
Yeah, no, come on. The golden age of Star Wars was the 2000s because, look, the movies weren't pouring out, but you had... toys and these things just keeping the world alive around you, and you had video games
and comics and books.
So that's the thing. And right now when I read an Ahsoka book but then find out it's not canon anymore, I go, why the fuck did I buy and read it and give a shit? Now this information in this book means nothing.
When I go to YouTube and I go look at a movie trailer and I want to know what the consensus is, what people think of it, and I go to the comment section, and these days I'm just seeing a bunch of stuff that's just completely not serious, making a joke, and everyone's repeating the same joke.
Yeah,
or just complaining about something that hasn't been proven to you as being the reason why something is bad. Preconceived opinion.
Yes.
Based on what you may see online said by someone else.
Yes.
Or a political reason. Look at Snow White right now. Here's the thing. It came out in some countries now.
Yes,
It's Friday.
Right,
So it's premiered. And a lot of the reviews are saying that it's a fine movie.
Checks out.
Disney. I mean, mediocre live action remakes is their thing.
Yeah.
Wow, this was a film. That's what you say when you watch. This is the truth.
It was a film. It's annoying that they keep doing remakes and not continuing forward with new stories. That's an annoying aspect of it.
Yeah.
But why are people so mad at poor little Snow White? Well, because of all these other reasons that are superficial. And then if you say you like it, you're a Disney chill, you're paying paid off. If you dislike it, you're not approving of political reason.
Sure, right.
Why can't we talk about the movie? What the movie made you feel? Can we not let the kids talk about this?
Right.
And yes, filmmakers have a responsibility. I had a friend who said that yes, the filmmakers have a responsibility to make these movies be good and accessible to audiences.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
A parent should be able to choose the movie the kid sees at a certain age to bring with, so the kid doesn't get bad influences and all that. And Disney has always been that place where you get movies that have good messages for everyone. And inspirational stories. Snow White, I mean, it's a very simple story. The Seven Dwarfs.
Actors and props and physical will always be better. Having someone in a suit or an outfit and all that stuff, that'll always look magical. Better. I want Harry Potter to be with props. I want Star Wars to be with props. I want Batman to be with props,
tangible.
Yes, because it's there, and then comes the point of like, should someone of a smaller stature that be forced to play roles of dwarves and halflings and all that stuff? I cannot give you a clean question. It gets bizarre even when you look at it from the Lord of the Rings. Did you know that there were scenes where they had the actual but then only from the. But then, not for all the shots, and it was bizarre for the ones they even chose to have them in there. It gets weird. It gets weird even for that one. It gets weird even for that one if you look a little bit. I don't know. I cannot tell you. I am not from a group of people that is marginalized in that way. I can't even tell you if there's a director or writer out there that's part of that community that could have helmed this.
With Snow White, they decided to not have any press interviews.
That's right. Yes.
Just to avoid this. And you know what? I think for once that was smart because it is for the kids. Sell this for the kids. Are the kids going to watch the interviews for Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot talking about what? Yeah. No, you don't need that. Actually, you don't need that. The movie speaks for itself. But is this the movie worth getting so riled up about? Is this the movie is this the one movie that you should get so mad about and talk to death about all kinds of political things, no matter what you believe? But it's to me, it doesn't matter if Snow White is from Mars or something. It's just is the movie good?
The innocence of children comes with the ability to just see that original story and just fully see it from the perspective of Snow White of I'm hated because I'm fucking pretty. Okay, and this crazy bitch is trying to murder me. I'm going to run away. Luckily, this forest man didn't choose to gut me and kill me and maybe do other horrible things to me. And then I ended up with these magical creatures of the forest, which as a child, you use, yes. If I was born different, then yeah, maybe I would have seen those scenes differently, and I can't speak to it. But again, the idea of them is this magical aspect of it, and yes, maybe it could be done better. I don't know, but the perspective I want to believe is that the innocence of a child see things as just this pure idea of magic and good, without seeing it more complex then. And as we grow older, we can look at it, debate, question, reiterate, and then hopefully change it for the better if we realize that it is ultimately more harmful than good, because maybe that childlike innocence can either lead to passive acknowledgism and letting this kind of behavior pass by. Because I was a kid, it was fine then. What's the problem? The world's moved on, Grandpa. That's the problem.
Well, how is this movie inspiring kids? I want to know that.
The degree of like, it's almost like looking at blaxploitation almost. It's a bigger community and to the point that they got to fight against it themselves by making blaxploitation films with black casts and writers, and not just like, you know, having the white guy in the back like, yeah, make the black guy say the funny thing, you know, like they actually. But then you have people going, you know what, fuck it, like we can make our own movies. Why let them take
Dolomite is my name.
Dolomite is my name.
Why let them take advantage of us? Fuck them. If this is the kind of garbage they want us to shoot out, we can shoot out ourselves. Genius in a way, but then one could argue, oh, was that damaging the idea of like the black performer by doing something like that as well? Because am I the one to fucking answer it? I'll tell you what. No, I am not. I'm some fuck that doesn't know shit about fuck. Yes, and the fact that we're asking the question is the first step, and hopefully through a narrative of discussion is how we can get there. Now, throwing shit at everything out of fucking anger instantly is never the right perspective unless it's just overtly like racist or, you know, like hurtful or degrading and so forth. Then obviously, but then you sniff a mile away.
You see bad intention like nothing else. That's true.
On film, I'm telling you guys, you can tell when some fucking writer or some other fuck writes some shit and you go, what the fuck? You can sniff it. You can sense it. And I do not have imagined that Disney would have even conceived. They're trying to make the most go happy go movie with their 1,001 like marketing analysts and people trying to just get everyone to go kumbaya, Disney good. They're not making bad movies. Snow White. It was a failure of stupidity, in case you feel like it was in any way insulting and hurtful. It was never one out of practicality of evil. That is not. I don't believe that.
Should I go into the cinema wearing a hood and sunglasses to hide that I'm going to see a movie from Disney, so I don't have to get pitchforks because that means I'm politically blah blah blah?
Question it from the perspectives. You can question it from a cultural perspective. Pauli, look, if I trust anyone to question Coco, the movie about, you know, dying and being a Mexican, I trust you. I don't trust Joe Schmo. Joe Schmo, are you Mexican? No. Okay, well then I don't give a fuck.
And Coco is very accurate, except for one thing, which is another conversation.
Well, sure. But then that's my point. It's like the same way, you know, if someone came out and David, this is accurate Romanian cultures and standards, like, fuck, dude, I don't know. I'm barely Romanian at this point. I'm just some fuck. Genetically, I guess, but
David, it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Right, but that's the thing. You're not allowed to be a silent observer or an observer that voices opinions on either side and just tries to have a conversation, because then it instantly goes to how dare you not believe the same things I do? It's bad because of this. You know, it's the acolyte all over again. How dare you? I hate this movie because an Asian man's in it. I'm like, oh, I don't like it because I thought the writing was bad. Why are we attacking the people?
It's getting out of hand. If the movie's bad, it's
the writer's a lesbian. They put her wife in it. I'm like, okay. I mean, no, James Gunn put his wife in the movies. That's damn straight man putting his wife in his movies, getting John Cena to fuck her. How dare he? I mean, they're insane. People are insane.
I would cast my brother too, which I do. And I would cast my wife too. I don't have one.
All right, you know, auditions. You cast your brother. Yeah, I'm having fun here.
Okay. Well.
Look, it's getting to me where I just want to talk about movies online or read comments.
Passion is valid. Yeah. You are allowed to say that you've dedicated time, money, effort into a thing you love. So when someone just smudges, breaks that, yes, it hurts. Because, you gave a shit. And now all of that just goes, it doesn't matter anymore. Fuck you. And it's hard to within yourself go, you know what? I still like the things I like about it. They can't change that for me. You know, like I have problems and I fuck things in my life sometimes. And people will be like, oh, David, you should have done this and this. And I go, cool, how do I fix? And sometimes I've just got a no answer. I go, you can't tell me I've done bad and then not help me understand how to fix it. Oh, it's your own fault for not knowing. No, it isn't. Because I'm uneducated and I'm asking for help, it should mean that you should want to help me, not leave me in the dust. Leaving me in the dust is how you're going to push people to extremes. I want to ask questions right now, but I don't know if by just doing it, I'm outing myself as a bigoted idiot. And you know what? I am maybe a bigoted idiot. Then fucking teach me. I beg you. Yeah. I will not be a better me if no one takes the effort to try to make me better. The effort I can do is say I want to learn, but I can't just manifest the rest of it. I need that other part. If I say give me the book to teach, but you're just holding on to it, then then you are impeding progress yourself by doing so and stopping it and probably reverting it. I've seen so many people that I know on Facebook, like, that are, my vibe, my gut tells me that's a good person or whatever, and et cetera, et cetera. But I've seen people post a few extremism shit on Facebook and stuff during different eras that have happened because they didn't know any better. And people just like took the shit off them. And I went, oh, fuck, they're not gonna help saying stuff. And then eventually lower down in those same like comment threads about some of this like political stuff that's happened in the past few years, you know, from 2015 to now, be like, hey, this is why this is not said like this and we say like this instead. And people go, oh, okay. And me reading those threads with someone taking their time to understand, I went, oh, I get it. Not because I was on either side of the fence, I just thought, huh. But then just taking the time to take a look, I went, oh, cool. By just fucking listening, I understand why that's the perspective on this corner. Now I see it. It took me 2 seconds to have someone just calmly explain the point of view somewhere in the thread and start saying, hey, you're the reason this sucks, you fuck. And it's like, well, you're not going to take anything better. You're just going to push people in a corner even further, and then they're gonna lash out because that's what animals do when they're cornered. What a surprise. And humans are no different. It does come to the question of what you said. If I have this role that is quite literally meant for someone of a stature or ethnicity or race or gender, should I not give it to that person? Should I cast a Irish man as a fat penguin? Or should I give this role to an actual fat guy from Brooklyn? Maybe I should. I'm sure there's plenty of fat guys from Brooklyn who want to act right now. And they deserve it. And they need a malnourished Romanian boy maybe for a movie. Hi, I'm right here. Hire me. I'm ready, you know, like, I can be all grown up, the little boy from, please, may I have some more? Look at me, I can do it so good. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, Pauli.
Acting is acting.
Acting is acting, and I agree that if you go tell me, oh, that's an Asian man, and then I see Scarlett Johansson, it's just bringing it back to some old problems. Although that was the one that I brought back just because it was a little bullshit because she's a fucking robot. And even in the original thing, I'm pretty sure she's not really... It's like a similar storyline, I think.
So that's anime in
a little bit
live action.
Yeah, I know. But it's just like, look, gatekeeping exists everywhere for everything.
A movie like Emilia Paris deserves to have this conversation because that movie is about a bunch of themes to do.
That movie is insulting to everyone.
Yeah, that's an example where, yes, this is the conversation. Snow White, is that the place for this conversation?
That's the question. And well, but the nature comes from the simple point. Well, the Harry Potter will be the playground for the snake thing now.
Yeah,
Now it will be. The same way it was for Captain America. Oh, Captain America's black now. I'm like, okay.
I don't see the issue.
Yeah, exactly. The whole point of evolution of character and the writers behind each project you are receiving will write out of what they know, experienced, and have seen. And a good writer can come up with horrible or amazing things that they've never experienced, but they just have the capability for it. I know I've done a few characters and a few things, and then some of the other stuff I'll be pulling from my own life and experience, because to me it becomes easier to write. It becomes more believable because I can put the objective experience I've had.
There you go. And with that said, let us know what you thought, and thank you for listening in to our DEP Talk. Next time we might talk about some DC and continue.
Maybe Marvel, some DC. We'll go superheroes maybe. Ooh, that's a hot topic.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It will be a different location next time.
Oh yeah, back to the house. Wow.
Let me know what you thought about this format.
Yes. Bye. Thank you. There.
Don't you dare, devil.